Guys, in the steps to build your parachute, otherwise known as your recovery system, you're gonna need the following supplies. You're gonna need the yellow Pitsco parachute. You will need a yellow nose cone, this one on the tip of the rocket, a piece of black tissue paper that's about 5 inches by 5 inches, 6 of these white circle stickers that we'll use as a reinforcement ring around our parachute holes, tape, scissors, and then I will be giving you 6 strands of white parachute string. Okay. First step you're going to do, just to get it out of the way, is you're going to take these stickers. You'll see on the parachute, there's red circles there. That shows you where those go. So I'm going to peel these stickers off and work my way around the parachute, installing all 6 rings. They don't need to be perfect, but you do want to have them as close to those corners and aligned as straight as possible. So once you have all 6 stickers in place, next step, just with the scissors, we are going to cut out along the red dashed line all the way around. Make sure we don't want to cut into the white rings because that would lose the structural integrity of those, and we want to keep those very securely in place. So I'm just going to cut right along this red dashed line. So now that I have my parachute cut out, the next step is going to be to tie our strings onto our parachute. Now we're going to tie a string at each of our white circles. So the first thing you're going to need to do before you tie the strings is we're going to have to poke a hole in those scissors or in the circles with a pair of scissors. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to carefully hold the scissors and open the blade. So I have just one blade, and I'm going to use that just to poke a hole through the parachute, right through the center of that white hole. I'm going to do that to all 6 of the rings. Again, I'm being very careful not to stab myself or to cut the ring. Once I have a hole poked in all 6 rings, we can attach our strings. So to do this, we're going to slide the string through the hole that we poked with the scissors. So slide through. You should have approximately 2 inches. So just about the length of maybe 2 of your knuckles on your finger. So it's from about there's 1 knuckle, there's 2 knuckles. Okay. Once I have that through, I'm just going to do a simple knot. I have it under. I'm going to put it through. And then I'm going to pull it tight. Be careful not to pull it too tight, as it can pinch up the parachute, and you do want to double knot. And then you're going to continue this process all the way around to all 6 circles. Once you have all 6 strings tied in place, you might have a little bit of excess string on the end. Go ahead and use your scissors and cut off the excess. Just be careful that we don't cut the knot. Okay. Once you have the excess string cut off of each of your knots, this next step might require the help of a partner. But what you are going to do is I'm going to pinch right in the middle of this Pitsco circle. So I'm basically going to pinch that S in my fingers. And then I'm going to make a circle with my other finger and thumb. I'm going to pull the parachute through. So it kind of makes a tube shape. Okay. From there, I'm going to pull my strings out. Again, I'm being gentle. But I want all my strings to be at the end. Okay. Now you can see that even though I have those strings in line, they are not all exactly the same length. That happened because when I tied my knots, I didn't tie everything exactly the same. So what I'm going to do, and this is where a partner comes in handy, because while one person can hold the string, the other person can grab a small piece of tape. It does not need to be a big piece of tape at all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully wrap this around all the strings. I'm going to try to get it tight. So what this is going to do, it's going to hold those intact. So I can cut the strings right at the end of the tape, so all my strings are the same length. And this is also going to act kind of like the tip of a shoelace to help us tie it more easily. Because in your next step, you're going to have your completed rocket with your shot cord and that screw eye that we attached on the end of the shot cord. Now we're going to take this tied into the parachutes, and I'm going to slide it through that screw eye, and that tape should help us get it through more easily. I'm going to slide it through the screw eye, just give it a pull. So we're through the screw. And then now, again, we're just going to do a basic knot, pulling the strings tightly. And on this, since we have that piece of tape, we should be good with one knot. We have a parachute that is tied to our shot cord that is anchored to our rocket. Okay, we are getting very close to being done. So in our next step, you're going to take your nose cone. You'll notice in the nose cone there is this circle. That is where our screw eye is going to get screwed into. I'm just going to take my nose cone, line it up with the screw eye, and I'm going to twist the screw eye until that, or twist the nose cone until that screw eye is secure. Now, don't yank very hard, but if you give it a gentle tug, you should feel that it's secure. Okay. Now, with our parachute and our rocket attached to our nose cone, We are ready for our final assembly and packing the parachute. So what you need is this sheet of tissue paper. This doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's actually very important, because if you remember from yesterday's video, when the engine launches, there is a final burst explosion that pops the parachute out of the top of the rocket. This tissue paper protects your parachute from any potential flames that might come from that explosion. So to do this, we're just going to wad it up just into a crumpled ball, and we're going to stuff it inside the top of the rocket, just down as far as your finger can reach. That's all there is to installing that tissue paper that's going to probably save your parachute. Now, as far as packing your parachute, if you remember before when I had you pinch the S, we're going to do that again. Pinch the S, take our other thumb and pointer finger, make a circle to pull that through. Then it's going to kind of bunch it up. Once I have this bunched up, I'm going to fold it in half. And then with the strings, I want to try to get out as many waves as possible, keep those strings straight. And I'm going to gently wrap the strings around the parachute. And then our final step is we are going to take that parachute and stuff it into the top of the rocket. Make sure our shock cord and any parachute strings are inside the tube. And we're going to push the cone on. So what you have is a fully assembled rocket that is ready for decoration and then launch.